So hello, welcome back to Go Again Gaming, another Blitz game here with Gmo on Olympia and Matthew on Datadol. Apologies for the webcams are a little bit blurry here, but this should be an interesting game. Haven't really seen much of Datadol, and she's got a load of new stuff recently from Bright Lights. I say recently, Bright Lights seems like so long ago. But yeah, lots of new items, lots of new crank mechanics, and we're going to start off with a dumpster dive. This is going to be boosting a card, and that's going to be boosting a Hadron Collider into play because of Datadol. So whenever an item gets boosted away, Datadol puts it into the arena, as long as it's cost 2 or less, and that is what's happening here. Hadron Collider coming in with a dumpster dive, which is going to be getting +1 because an item was banished from boosting it. So coming in for 5 with Go Again straight off the bat here from Matthew, starting off strong with a 5 Go Again and getting an item established into play here. Datadol, of course, only has an intellect of 3, so obviously that's one thing that you do have to jump through a lot of hoops with. Having that one less card can be a big issue, but Datadol does crank out some items, no pun intended, very quickly, and that can help towards a late game. But seeing a block here with a double down and a wage gold, I believe, there for 5 on Olympia's end. It's a shame that double down is getting discarded. Bit of a shame there, but needs to be done on turn 1 to stop the damage going through. And as we can see, Matthew is activating a Tekla Foundry Heart, boosting away 2 items, or 2 things off the top, one of which being another Hadron Collider, which enters the battlefield with 3 steam counters on it. So yeah, he's got 2 Hadron Colliders out now, and whenever he boosts an attack, he can get that much damage off of those steam counters, and that's what... Oh, okay. He's loading the pistol and then just using the Dissipation Shield out of hand. So, wow, what a turn from Matthew, starting off here with extreme board state. So his next attack's going to get +7 when he boosts it, and he's got some defense out as well. Sort of making up from that loss of card, because obviously you can only draw up to 3 because of Datadol's intellect. So that Dissipation Shield really sort of acting as like a 4th card in hand defensively. And as we can see as well, Matthew is running 2 adaptive platings, which can galvanise items to block 3 on each piece. So that's pretty good as well. Cool to see that as well in Blitz. Fridges do make a big difference. But over to Gmo here. He's going to start with a money where your mouth is, pitching a blue, I believe. The next attack's going to get +3, and when this attacks, you may wager a gold with them. So I imagine he will probably be doing that. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Wagering gold. Gmo still doesn't have access to the Olympia specialization yet. That's one thing that obviously these players don't have. Yeah, coming in for 7 with this Decimated Great Axe. And I think he's going to be wagering this, I believe. We will get confirmation soon as to whether he's going to be wagering it, because the as in, there it is. Post-production Az has already put this in. Thank you for Az in the past for doing this. But yeah, coming in for 7, and Matthew is blocking with 2 pieces of equipment, which I believe blocks for 4. So he could be taking 3 over the top, unless he does have an up the ante. Okay, then X equaling 2 on this. So he's getting, I think he's giving the, if I can remember correctly, when I edited this, I think he's giving the next attack plus Y, where Y is the amount of times that he's wagered, which I believe is twice. So once from the up the ante, once from the wage, the money where your mouth is. So I think that should be going up to 9 or 10, perhaps. So 1 from the up the ante. Oh no, because he's wagering some extra stuff as well. So yeah, going up to 10 with that, because he can choose X +1. So he's choosing 3 things. Therefore, he's wagering 3 times. Yeah, so he's wagering an agility, a vigor, a gold from the money where your mouth is. So it's going up to 10. Yes, that makes sense. So it's coming up for 10. Dissipation Shield is going to take away 4 of that. So 6 is still coming through on the back end. Sorry, 2 is coming through on the back end because he's blocked already with 2 pieces of armour. So yeah, 2's coming through on the back end. And of course, he is going to hit. He's going to do 2 damage to Matthew and get all of his good stuff, plus an additional gold from Olympia's ability as well. So pretty good stuff there. Very, very good. up the ante, just a very, very powerful swingy card in Olympia, and it's nice to see that go off. Gmo has had a few of those go off in this casual Blitz League, which you can join in the Discord. But Matthew is starting his turn here. His Hadron Colliders do tick down in value, so he has to try and boost an attack to get that value off as soon as possible. It's +5 currently on the board when he next boosts an attack. So that's what he's going to be doing here. He's going to be doing a dumpster dive yet again, boosting away a zipper hit. So this is going to be coming in for, I believe that's 9 with go again. The 5 goes on to the... Yeah, that's right. The 5 goes on to the 4. So this is coming in for 9 with go again on the dumpster dive, with 1 floating and 1 card in hand. So we can still potentially follow this up. And Gmo just deciding to chuck some armor in front of this. And then play blocker from a card from hand. So I believe that's blocking 7. Blocking 7. So, sorry, blocking 6, I believe. From there. Is that a wage? Something or other in the graveyard. But he's taken 3 damage here. And Matthew using the Teklo Foundry Heart and finding a Stasis Cell and a Plasma Purifier. So that is pretty sick stuff. And the Stasis Cell is just going to be making sure that Brave Forge can't be activated until the end of Gmo's next turn. Then he's going to be putting some steam counters on the Plasma Purifier here, using the Plasma Purifier to give our next pistol attack +1. Coming in with a 0 to 60 and boosting another 0 to 60 away. So this is coming in for 4 with go again. Pretty good stuff. And then he can follow up with a pistol shot for 3, I believe, after this, which I think is pretty good. Might have missed a few little things there because it's going quite quickly. But Gmo is just going to take the 4 damage to the face here from the 0 to 60. And then Matthew is going to come in with a Teklo Plasma Pistol for 3. Now, just a heads up, I believe this damage that Gmo takes in a moment is completely unnecessary. I think someone got confused here with regards to how much damage the Teklo Plasma Pistol was going to be doing. And that's why we see a block from hand in a moment from Gmo with this, which I believe blocks for 3. So I don't know why he went to gesture to take some damage here from the dice, and then he just I've edited in here. Gmo lost life for no reason because the pistol attacked for 3 and he blocked for 3, I believe. So I don't know why he's taken that 3 life away from his dice. So does have a bit of an impact on this game, but this is just a casual game nonetheless, so these things do happen. But correct us in the comments if that is what happened, but I don't think he should have lost that 3 life there. But Gmo nonetheless in this turn, Gmo I should say, cashing in to draw 2 cards off of the gold, probably one of the only decent-ish payoffs for gold at the moment, in Olympia at least. Obviously we've got the new card, but obviously that's not being used in this particular game. But Gmo drawing 2 cards, and now playing a Edge Ahead. So Edge Ahead was the one that blocks for 3, so I think that was the maths earlier. I was trying to figure out what that card was. But Edge Ahead, next attack gets +3 and wages a Vigor with them. Or is it Agility? I think it is Agility, actually. Yeah, Agility. And this is coming in for 7 again on the Decimated Great Axe. And of course, Decimated Great Axe, probably one of the best things you can use to try and just sneak damage through, because it just devalues defense. So it's just one of those great cards that can... and he's wagering this as well, so he is wagering the Vigor. Sorry, the Agility behind this. So 7 wagering Agility. Matt's blocking with his Teklo Foundry Heart at the moment for just 1, I believe. And taking the rest of it. Taking the 6. And obviously Olympia's going to trigger here as well, so he's going to get the gold off of that and the Agility off of the wager as well. So he's going to get both of those tokens. And then he's going to follow up at the end of his turn with a Goblet of Blood Rum Wine, which gives him an additional Agility. That doesn't really matter so much, but the Vigor will pay for something instead of pitching for it, so that's always good. So yeah, that's the end of Gmo's turn there. Lots of tokens, lots of board state all round for these 2 heroes. And Matthew is going to be starting his turn by using his status cell, or status cell. Put it on the bottom of its owner's deck, choose an equipment. It can't defend this turn. So I believe he chooses the Brave Forged Braces here. Yep, I've just read that as well on the Olympia side of the field there. So Brave Forged Braces can't block this turn, and that goes on the bottom of the deck as well, which is pretty cool. Pretty nice little card. A Majestic from Bright Lights, when this leaves the arena as well, activated abilities of target equipment can't be activated until the end of its controller's next turn as well. So he's actually turning off the activated ability of Prized Galea when it goes back into the deck as well. So we can't actually use that extra wagering ability there on Olympia's helmet. But Matthew following up with a data link here. So a 3 booster. No item was boosted off of that, but when this hits, he gets to opt 1, which allows him to figure out whether there's items on top that you can boost into play. But just a 0 for 3 go again attack essentially in this deck, with a little bit of extra synergies because of the stuff coming off of the top of the deck as well. But the Prize Galea, Gmo's just saying, right, I'm probably never going to use the activated ability of this because you've turned it off with the stasis cell, so I may as well use it to block alongside this Grains of Bloodspill, which does block for 2 as well. So this is going to block the whole thing out. So that's the Prize Galea gone down the drain, and obviously the Grains of Bloodspill is on 1 battle-worn counter. He's going to pitch into the Teklo Foundry Heart and boost away a microprocessor, probably one of the most essential cards in Datadog, which allows you to do so much filtering, which is what you need. You need that card selection, that card advantage. That's exactly what he's going to be doing here. He's going to be opting to see what he wants, and he's putting that straight to the bottom. So microprocessor as well, whenever it is activated, it gives you that action point back, and he's using that action point now to put something steam counter on the pistol with 1 floating. He's going to use the plasma purifier, and now he's going to dive through data using a resource. So this is a 4 attack with boost, and he's boosting away another card there, not an item, so it doesn't go into play. And when this hits, he also gets to opt again as well, which is pretty cool. Pretty synergistic with how Datadog wants to operate and get those items and rip those items off the top with boost. Yeah, another 4 attack coming in here with Matthew on a little bit of a life advantage, as we saw Gmo take 3 damage earlier for no apparent reason, it seems. It should be 13-12 right now. Correct us in the comments if we've missed something there, but that's what it looks like what happened. But yeah, coming in for 4 when Gmo is currently on 10. He does have a vigor, he does have and it doesn't have an agility over there. He does have a couple of agilities over there, so he can potentially still block of 1 card, still have a resource and a go again to play with, even if 1 card is used to block here. So that's always going for him. Quite a plethora of tokens on Olympia's side of the field at the moment, but still staring down a 4 with go again. Gmo is choosing to block with a Take the Upper Hand, which does block for 3. One of my favourite cards of heavy hitters, actually, going down to 9. And of course, we are going to see a pistol shot after this. This is coming in for 3 because the purifier was activated before it. So this is coming in for 3 now on this pistol. As well, so interesting to see what Gmo does. He's just going to take it. He's just going to go down to 6. So 6 will play into 12 going forward, and Matthew has established that microprocessor out as well. So it's going to be a pivotal part for getting Datadog's engine on board late game here. As he draws up to 3, but the vigor is going to pop. The agilities are going to give him double go again here, which doesn't make any difference. It's just for extra flavour. But obviously he's got a resource to play with as well, which kind of takes away the same thing as what happened with the Take the Upper Hand. So resources and vigor turning into block to a certain degree as well. And really sort of messing around with the hand composition. But here comes a edge ahead. Next warrior attack gets +3, and you may wager an agility. And he's just going to come in for 7 again, with this blue being pitched here to decimate a Great Axe for 7 with a wager agility, potentially on the stack, I believe. Are we wagering? Yes, we are wagering. 7 damage coming in with a wager agility. This attack does have go again as well, I believe, from the agilities played before it, but there's no resources floating with 1 card in hand, so I doubt that something will come after this. But the adaptive plating being used to block 1 so far. but he can galvanise to make it block for 3 if he wants to. So it'll be interesting to see if he does do that. So currently blocking for 1, so 6 will go over the top of this at the moment, which will bring Matthew down to 6, and Olympia will win the wager, which means he will get a gold and an agility off of this transaction. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. He's going to go down to 6, blocking for 1 on the tectonic plating. Not tectonic plating, the adaptive plating, with Olympia generating a gold from his ability because he won a wager, and the agility off of the off of the edge ahead as well. So going up to an agility and a gold there. And arsenaling a card for the next turn, drawing up to 4. Over to Matthew's turn here. He's going to trigger the microprocessor. And he's going to be drawing a card and putting a card back on top of the deck, if I remember correctly from editing this. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. But yeah, he's putting a card back on top of the deck. And this is where Data Doll can get a little bit out of hand. She can really sort of select and sort of filter what cards she wants to use. And the more those items come into play, the more out of hand it gets. And we all know this anyway from sort of original Dash and CC and everything. You know, the board stakes can get out of hand eventually. And coming in with a red T-bone and boosting in a mini force field, which Matthew is going to decide to crank, which means that T-bone will come in with Go Again, essentially. And he's going to have 2 action points because of the crank. So he's going to have semi-go again on something. But Gmo being forced to block with his Brave Forge here because of the T-Bones effect, which forces you to block with equipments. Then he's going to pitch into the Teklo Foundry Heart and boost away 2 more things, with a fuel injector coming into play and something else being boosted away there. And 2 resources floating off of the Teklo Foundry Heart. So fuel injector is pretty cool. You can just gain a resource off of it, essentially. And that's exactly what Matthew is probably doing now. Yep, he's going up to 3 resources at instant speed, just putting that on the bottom of his deck and gaining a resource, going up to 3 resources. He's going to put a counter on the Purifier, a counter on the pistol. Then he's going to remove a counter from the Purifier. Give his next attack +1 on the pistol. Now he's going to 0 to 60, boosting away another 0 to 60. I believe this one's coming in for 3. Matthew's webcam just slightly out of frame there. Maybe I could have done a better job on the editing, but hopefully this is fairly easy to follow, I believe. Hopefully we're saying the right things. But a Technoplasma pistol being shot at him for 3 now. Gmo staring down some pistols in the arena. Coming in for 3. The previous attack was blocked by another Take the Upper Hand. This is coming in for 3 now, which is another card or the rest of the equipment. And it can take 1 damage from that, if that's the block he wants to do. Yep, he's chosen that. So going down to 4 now. And I believe there's no equipment blocks left. The bolters have also gone down as well. So that's pretty much all of the block available on the equipments. A brief moment of respite. It was Gmo deciding whether he wanted to block the pistol. So going down to 1 life, but just wanting to crack back with 4 cards. That's the reason for this. With the agility popping now, we're going to see the next attack gain Go Again. And of course, we're going to see a Wage Vigor coming in for 7 with Go Again. If it hits, he gets a Vigor if he decides to wager it with a Matt. And he is exactly doing that. He's wagering the fact this is going to hit. On hit is basically death anyway. So coming in for lethal damage on the 7 Go Again. Matthew decided to block with his adaptive plating and using the galvanize effect to give it +2 defense. So it's actually blocking for 3 now. 4 will go through on this at the moment. Four will go through on this. Is there a reaction? No. But there is Ward 3 from the mini force field, so only taking 1 damage from that at the moment. So that's pretty cool. That mini force field really just doing some work there to sort of prevent the damage to go through at the end. And Gmo does have go again after this. It did hit, so he did get the stuff. He did get the wages from Olympia and the wage vigor. And now the decimator great axe is coming in for just the 4. So it's not lethal. There could be a reaction. It would have to be a 0-cost reaction to kill Matthew at this point. So are there many of those? There's the wager ones, which cost 0. The Iron Song responses, perhaps, but obviously he hasn't blocked from a card from hand. But he has taken the risk. Matthew is going down to 1 and surviving here. So it's going to be, can Gmo defend enough times now with Data Doll coming in with absolute boost and absolute shenanigans. Microprocessor being activated here to potentially draw a card and put a card back on top. I believe that that's what Matthew's doing at this point in time. And rightly so. You know, you want to filter for your cards, you want to be drawing cards and just making sure that you can really sort of push all that damage through and squeeze all that value out of your cards this late in the game. Gmo's got no block left. He's got a card in his arsenal. Don't know what that is. Not sure what that is yet. But Matthew's coming in here with a 0 to 60, boosting away another microprocessor. That's going to come in very, very handy. But Gmo still having to stare down this 3 attack with go again, and yeah, another microprocessor available to filter even more so towards this late stage of the game. That probably could be it. At this stage with that much value on board, and that's what Data Doll needs at this point. But yeah, Gmo having to stare down a 3 attack with go again, which basically says on hit die, so he has to respect it. Can't let that one singular damage go through. There's no armor left on the field, and having to block with a double down, that is a powerful card in Olympia, just doubling all of your wager generation, but having to see it go is a bit of a shame, but that is being blocked by double down completely. Now we're going to see another activation of microprocessor. Matthew choosing to draw a card and put a card back on top of the deck here. So really just digging for as much wideness as he can to get that 1 damage through. Now he's going to pitch to the Teklo Foundry Heart, pitching an optical molecule, so he should have 2 floating after this. He's going to be banishing away a Hadron Collider and an Induction Chamber. Wow, that is a pretty good hit off of the top. And he's going to crank the Hadron Collider, remove a Steam Counter on it to get 2 action points back from this as well. That's pretty sick. So he can pseudo give things go again if they don't already have it from having the action points available. That is pretty good. He's going to use the resources to fuel up his Induction and his pistol, going down to 2. And he's going to throw his pistol at Gmo, every single shot now being lethal. This is coming in for 2 damage, and of course he can crank, well not crank, but he can activate the induction chamber to give it go again as well, because there is a steam counter on it, which is probably what's going to happen on the second attack, because he now doesn't have an action point left after this, I believe. So I think he would have to give this one go again with the induction chamber, or can he shoot another time after this? Yeah, oh, he can shoot another time after this. Wow, okay. Yes, he had 2 action points. Okay, so now he's got another attack coming in for 2. Wow, that's ridiculous. So those 2 cards there, the induction chamber and, you know, the Hadron Collider is going to pop off next turn as well, so that's going to force more damage through, but that is a real hand stripper. That induction chamber this late in the game with the pistol, with the extra action points from the crank, is really just making sure that Gmo can't have a turn next turn, just stripping the cards away. And now Matthew has such an advantage with 2 microprocessors, a Hadron Collider, induction chamber. Just all of these cards are going to help him filter and just strip away the remainder of Gmo's hope in this game. But yeah, choosing to draw a card and put a card back on top, probably the best thing to do at this point, just to draw a card, put a card back on top. Depends what your hand composition is, but here we go. Sprocket Rocket, boosting away another force field, which is going to come in. He's going to crank it to gain another action point. And the Sprocket Rocket is coming in for quite a lot of damage because of the Hadron Collider boosting it. So this is 6 go again here. +1 as well from the banished force field. And Gmo having to block with 3 cards to not die. 3/2 blocks. That is absolutely pivotal. And that is pretty much game here. He's got, unless it's a D-react or something in his arsenal, he's got no more defense left. Matthew just making sure by using the Teklo Foundry Heart, getting a Dissolving Shield into play, cranking that to give him another action point. This is getting out of hand now. 4 resources floating. Here we go. Here's another attack. Oh, this is absolutely outrageous. Fueling up his pistols. He's running out of dice here. Lots of stuff going. Another T-Bone. Boosting away a Teklo Pounder, which comes into play. This is getting out of hand. There's nothing else. There's nothing else Gmo can do here. That is pretty much it. He's going to shoot the pistol. That is the game. That is it. Jesus. Wow. That was pretty insane. There was a little bit of a differential in life with regards to that 3 damage that Gmo took for no reason. Obviously, we can go back and rewind that multiple times to see what actually happened there. But Matthew, just that board state at the end game there, I'm not sure whether that was even possible to keep up with. Incredible showing from Datadol. And yeah, if you want to play some more Blitz, make sure you go and check out the Go Again Gaming Discord. Link is in the description box below. That is pretty much it. Cheers.